Welcome to CEO Money. I'm Michael Yorba, your host. Thanks for joining us. All right, my guest is Adesh Tyagi. He is the managing partner and president of Nexent Capital Management. All right, Adesh, thanks for being with us on the show. Appreciate this.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me.
My pleasure. Give us a background on your company and yourself, and then I'm going to dive right into AI, what you're doing with that, what you see happening going forward.
Sure. So we are a private equity fund focused on the new emerging technology areas such as AI, artificial intelligence, blockchain, and we're looking at companies which are enabling themselves from these technologies and growing their cash flows and so on and so forth. So typical private equity, but focused more on AI and blockchain.
All right.
And myself got about 26, 27 years industry experience in technology and investing.
Okay. Tell me what is disruptive that you've seen in the artificial intelligence area, AI, where we're going, and what you see that's really making the news and setting trends as we go forward.
So AI is actually not new to the world. It has been there for years and decades, and a lot of research has been done. It's just that it has come to more business application, and as many other things has enabled it, such as cloud, which had helped, and mobile platforms that enabled AI to do many things. What we're seeing is people talk a lot about artificial intelligence doing things, more so of like taking over jobs, what people talk about, whereas that's actually totally opposite of that. Whereas, AI particularly is enabling a lot of workplaces to do their jobs even more effectively.
Okay. Now, one of the areas of interest to me, and I'm sure many other people, is new media technology and the media mergers. Can you address those topics for me?
Sure, yeah. So basically you have, a lot of consolidation going on in that media market, as you know about. Most current, offers from Disney for Fox for $72 billion or $71 billion, which is the last offer, which we all heard. Basically, consolidation, in the media market and utilizing some of these new technology areas within the media itself would be a big effect, such as how, the whole change of format on the media, whether basically the theaters and the movies were shown primarily in the physical disc format, and that has moved now to online medium and streaming. So right. Exactly is the similar effects you're going to see when some of those new technology areas are now going to be able to help we've started calling some of those streaming technologies, which came in early 2000s, as legacy now, right? So you're going to see more highly distributed network of sharing those digital platform, where a movie is protected from digital footprint, but also being shared across the globe, not just on the theaters. So with that in mind, there could be more revenue stream for these media companies.
I get it. Now, let's break down the different processes on AI in regards to media, because I know that I've been working with some people trying to work with artificial intelligence or machine learning to be able to segment out who is watching what, but not just who's watching what, but what they're going to be interested in next, and being able to serve that up to them so that I'm anticipating their needs. Are you seeing strides in that area so that we can be able to utilize this on a more pervasive manner?
Absolutely. So that is actually a typical of AI application in any of the area. Let's aside media itself. So basically, as I mentioned, AI has been there for ages. A lot of mathematical algorithms and equations were already researched and being built. What is changing now is the data. So the data which has been built over the years, and we now have developed a lot of analytical data and analytics engines around it, which is basically enabling, the AI. Now, to your example, within what a consumer, one individual, basically searching for a movie, for example, and watching a movie or a show, you then have certain behavioral aspects which has been now captured by AI, and not just in these individuals watching it, but also discussing and talking about it in different mediums such as social media. So which is where the whole enablement comes in, that now basically the studio publishers could actually target those individuals with the content which exactly this individual likes. And it could be different content for one household or one individual, and it could be a very different content for the neighbor who's living next to this household. So now you can go to that level of where target at individual level within that same household, and obviously that changes across the globe.
I get it. Yeah, I can't wait to see some of the new developments that they have. Now, how do you help companies adapt their models to these new technologies?
So we are applying technological advancements using AI and blockchain in many ways. So I'll give you a good example. We have just recently partnered one of our companies called C7 AI Inc., which is basically a new age services company. The company's I'm the CEO of that company also, and the company is applying AI into talent acquisition and talent management, which is a big problem these days for a lot of corporates. Essentially, when, let's say, we are looking to recruit a movie studio producer, for example, and there are a lot of movie studio producers aren't looking for a job or changing their jobs, for example. So we call them passive candidates. They're not active candidates in the market. But AI allows us to learn more about them and also reach out to those passive guys when we have a certain description of a job. And then, moreover, it allows us also to manage that talent. So essentially, you've recruited 100 candidates into a company of a kind, but the major problem is retention. So what AI allows us to do is that what is these employees like to do within the same company, and allows us to better manage that talent pool, hence lower down the attrition.
Got it. And does it also help on the bottom line in regards to revenue stream and productivity?
Absolutely. So giving you an example, we are looking at a company in a staffing industry to acquire as a fund. The staffing industry itself has huge data, millions and millions of candidates in their database. To give you an example of active and passive candidates they try to recruit for their customers, whereas they have to have army of recruiters doing jobs in a day, for example. And typically, one candidate depends on what they're looking for. It ranges from 1 to 3 days of a sourcing search, spending that much of time to come up with that candidate which matches the job description. Artificial intelligence allows you to do that search in not more than 10 or maybe 15, 20 seconds. So right there, you have a direct revenue, which is increased. Now you are able to respond more to the client's needs. So if somebody's, good examples, Facebook's looking to recruit 30,000 people, 30,000 employees in next 1 year, as you may have heard. How are they going to recruit if you don't have the AI enablement in the time frame we're talking about? So, and then it's directly related to the cost. So if we are able to, in the time, me as a recruiter, able to find, say, 10 candidates, this is allowing me to now look for 100 candidates because of the time acceleration. So now I may be able to make offers to 50, if not 100, and essentially save a lot of cost, increase revenue for my company, and also save a lot of bottom line, because again, my cost is constant.
I get it. It sounds to me like it's anywhere between a 10 and 30% savings, depending on application and scope. Am I close?
Absolutely. It may be even more in some cases. And another example I want to give you is basically where you have an AI application in, real estate, for example. You mentioned about how you can actually see the behavioral impact of a consumer.
Right.
Same thing within, within a neighborhood of, say about, 1,000 homes. There are, and then an active buyer is looking for a home. And in today's market, active buyer is only able to see what's out there for, sale. An intelligent realtor who's AI enabled would be able to reach out to and find out that this is the pattern of this household because of the information they will be able to collect, where this household may be willing to sell their house because they've started selling, for example, there's a garage sale, this house has put it on, and they're selling their large screen TV. So that means they are thinking, in that pattern, but they're not actively selling their house. So AI can collect that data, and actually this realtor now can reach out to that household who's not actively seeking to sell, essentially, come up with somebody who's now willing to sell their house. So it's a more and matches to the buyers they have. So it's all analytical in nature, but also it's increases basically the productivity of these realtors per se.
What would you say the market penetration at this point is with that market sector?
Oh, it's a very low, probably less than 2%, but I would say even 2% is high. But I think in 2 years you'll see it around 20-25% penetration.
That leaves a huge margin for growth. What in the way, let me try and word this properly, what in the way of competition do you have out there? What are you dealing with to keep you separate, apart, and above whatever is coming around the corner? Because there's always competition no matter who you are, no matter what you do.
No, absolutely. The competition is going to be the typical large companies, IBMs of the world, Microsoft of the world, who will try to basically build certain software. IBM has Watson, which they're trying to promote. Amazon has Alexa, and Google has Home. But those devices or those technologies are very limited to what we call Internet of Things, IoTs. Mm-hmm. And then they have a limitation in terms of how those devices could actually be applied towards a real business case, in terms of an application. So, if those devices can be applied in an existing infrastructure, yeah, then absolutely. What we're saying, you use your existing infrastructure, existing application systems in place, and we deploy what we call robotic software in form of AIs to do certain different kinds of things. And whether it's real estate, whether it's talent acquisition, whether it's media search, we can use the data points and actually structure our services very creatively while the customers or the clients we have maintain what they have. So that's the biggest thing which we think as an added advantage. Our implementations of technologies does not ask for them to change themselves quite a bit, which is a huge thing. Whereas adopting, how many people, Google Home was launched 3 years back, 4 years back, how many people have adopted it, on a day-to-day life, which is where I think, the difference would come in. And we would succeed probably better than some of those competitors.
I get it. Great walkthrough.
It may get acquired by them, but.
Adesh, we're come to the, unless there's some other parting message you wanted to bring out to the audience, I think we kind of covered what it is you're doing, and it's brilliant.
Sure. So I think that the market, I just want to summarize that the market's going to see a huge shift in the next 2 to 3 years itself, and how companies adopt some of these new technologies. And the companies who do not adopt these technologies, would not only, fail to compete, but probably would be going out of business. The good example, I've been involved with such similar transition shift in the technology, where I was, involved with mergers of Hollywood Video with movie gallery, which was a DVD rental company. And none of them exist today because they just didn't see the streaming and they didn't see the technology advancements coming through, whereas they were in the best place to launch that. And Netflix has taken over. So same thing is going to happen with AI and machine learning, and blockchain technology is going to put some of the companies out of business.
I agree, and I'd look forward to maybe even interviewing some of the people that have used your applications to get a case study of what's happened before and what's happening now, how they're able to stay ahead of the competition with the edge that you provide.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you very much.
Adesh, it's been a real pleasure. Thank you for coming on to the show. Appreciate that.
Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Adesh Tyagi, Managing Partner and President of Nexent Capital Management, Chief Executive Officer of C7 AI Inc. Thanks for watching CEO Money. I'm Michael Yorba, your host. We'll be back with more great content and our next unicorn for you.